Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back, everybody. So here's one of the jobs that we always have to work into the schedule when it comes to spring work, because between wanting to tear out fence and put in fence, getting seed around, getting all the equipment ready to go, locating parts, finding parts, trying to get everything cleaned up and ready to go, we got to keep the cattle fed. And I ran down here after, well, we had an inch or so this past couple days, well, this past weekend, and it's muddy, which luckily for me, that's all we seem to be used to feeding in is in mud, so I'm well experienced. Excuse me. And unfortunately, all the hay that's down in my place is officially gone, and I'll have to move some hay around because we're not quite there yet as far as being able to just let the cows out of the pastures. The pastures are growing up. You can see there's a fair amount of green on each side of the screen. The grass is growing up weeks ahead of an average year, I guess. I mean, I guess I don't really know what average is anymore. But this year, yes, we definitely have a fair amount of grass for this time of year. I mean, usually it's closer to the 1st of May before you really start thinking that the cows will be fine, and about in the middle of May before you go, all right, let them loose. They can have the pastures. All the fences are checked, but now it's just keeping the cows contained in the pasture that they're in, so they're not pushing the fences too hard, trying to get to the grass that's growing on the other side of the fence. Because as you always know, this time of year, after it's been not necessarily a long winter, but definitely a cold, snowy, icy one, is the grass is definitely greener on the other side of the fence. And the cows like to remind me that every time I feed them. So we are getting down on actual bedding, corn fodder, which is about right. I tried to time it, feed it out where it's gone by spring. The stuff doesn't overwinter. Especially this stuff won't, because the amount of corn that's in it. Even on an average year, you're still going to have ears of corn and whatnot that's stuck in your bedding that you pick up, that the corn head knocks out of it. And I forgot I did this. I'm digging at, there's a hole that is freshly dug up in the pole shed here, and I was trying to tear the hole out and see if there's anything in there. And by the time I got done, if he's still in there, he ain't happy. Now, instant heart like in the comments for those of you that can tell me that movie reference. Yeah, it's nice to have everything emptied out, all the hay, all the bedding, especially going into a new season. We have enough ground as far as that goes, and not enough cattle, I guess you could say, to where we need to be able to hold this hay over and whatnot. My buddy, where they run, I think, 3 or 4 times more cattle than we do. They do exactly that. I think they said that one of their steer sheds, they're only about half ran out, or gone through about half of their round bales, which is a lot because the shed is huge. And they are fully in the mindset where if you don't use it, keep it, because you never know if, well, he said the dial could turn over and we could get a dry year yet this year, and for all they know, they might need that extra hay from this year to make it through next winter. So here's kind of a good example. I don't know how these fodder bales been sitting out at the end of the shed all winter, trying to give those doors a little bit more support, because the wind likes to whip through that shed, and it does its best to try to tear them apart. And these actually aren't, maybe the shed protected them a little bit, but these bales really weren't all that bad. They were a little rotten on the ground where, all the rain and the snow kind of collects, but you're going to see me take the wrap off to a certain degree. At least I think I do. I think I showed it on camera. The big thing is because of the corn in the bales, the cows just go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs trying to get this fodder. I mean, like literally, you got to work quick because otherwise they try knocking you down. Out of all of them right now, my brother's new bull that he just bought up at the home farm that's in with my cows, he's about the worst. Probably the most unpredictable. He's not outright mean. Like I try to make sure he's on the other end of the lot when I'm walking through the cow lot. But he's definitely, I don't know, he just gets excited. I mean, new bedding, new feed, I guess, or what. But I'm a lot more leery about him when it comes to that. When I drop a bale in and I'm taking the net wrap off, definitely watch for him coming around the bale with his head down, because he's rubbing his head up against the bale, and he's almost taking my legs out once or twice doing that. So I think it's easy for some people to forget. No, not me. I understand cattle are fully capable of inflicting a lot of damage. But it's easy to forget that, if you don't watch your back with these animals, they can hurt you really bad. I've heard multiple times over the years all across the country where such and such went to go check the cows and he never came back. His wife went to go check on him and she didn't come back either. And then the 10-year-old kid went to go find his parents and they were slammed into the mud and the bull took after the kid. So, yeah, definitely need to understand what your cattle are capable of. Not getting too calm or too used to them. I mean, they're animals. I mean, that's about the simplest way to put it. And I'm glad to be down to the last of the fodder because with the corn that's in them, the mice by this time of year, the rats, I don't want to winter them or give them a place to live all summer, because then your infestation problem could drastically get out of control. So it's always I'd say a good practice just to get it gone. And then same thing with all this manure. I mean, this foundation that you're seeing the cows walk over, that's actually about 5 feet tall from the bottom. So we got a lot of manure in this bed pack that we gotta get cleaned up. Probably isn't gonna happen this spring, just because it's the 12th of April. Me checking to see if that calf is a heifer. A lot of pretty calves down here. That new bull my dad got, clear as day. You can tell just by looking at the calves, because we had his older bull. That is now we sent him down the road, and then this new bull. You can definitely tell which calves came out of which bull. That younger bull that we bought locally here last year is throwing some awesome calves. Coincidentally, that same bull came from the same place that Ryan's bull came from. So, I mean, Dad and Ryan bought them at the same time, and they're throwing nice calves. They're worth the money. It's unfortunate what happened to Ryan's bull as far as his equipment not working, but I guess it happens. I hear stories all the time of guys buying $5,000 bulls just to find out their equipment's got a 90-degree turn in it. And men, back me up. It's not supposed to look like that. So, right here is where the whole mud thing comes into effect. I haven't turned the sticks at all on the skid steer. It's just lost traction with the tires on the Bobcat. And that's the disgusting part about this time of year. People might say, go to a track machine. Tracks are all right. Tracks have their place. I personally think, and this isn't me bashing on the JCB by any means, but it's a heavy machine, and you definitely feel it when you're going through mud. I personally think that if you're going to be looking for a track machine to be feeding cattle with, that you're going to be in mud a lot, I definitely think you look for a lighter machine with tracks on it, because the big thing about the JCB is because of that teleboom, the big payoff on the tracks is stability when you have that boom stuck out all the way, and that you're comfortable being able to extend that boom out and not be sent end over end or lose your traction, because you can have that sent out all the way, depending on what you have on the front of the boom, and still kind of feel the back end of that machine tilt up. I mean, Ryan's that brush cutter for the front of it, that's probably the worst. I mean, I can have a round bale on the end of it, and I've done it a lot, where I've stuck that boom out and stacking bales straight out and up, and everything else like that, and it's perfectly stable. But I just think, in my experience with it, if I was looking for a track machine to be in mud pretty much consistently, a lighter machine. I mean, I guess that's my 2 cents. And what I kind of you lose me quite a bit on with tracks, is keeping the tracks clean. They're a magnet for mud, for thick, heavy clay, nasty mud. It took me an hour and a half cleaning out the tracks on Ryan's machine the other day. Cleaned it up nice, but you turn once in the cow lot and it looked like I hadn't done anything to it. So I'm more of a proponent for tires. I really am. Tires and chains at least will get me around where I want. Gradually changing things around here for those of you that are longtime viewers. Even this little road right here, I'm planning on putting some gravel down through it. I was actually supposed to call the gravel guy today, but I don't know. Bales are nice, but having a consistent place to put them it would be great. I mean, it's nice putting them in this pasture right here because I can see them from the house and I know that they're okay, as opposed to up in the first cow pasture where we cleaned out that 15-year-old pile of manure. The problem with that is you have to physically go out and check them to make sure that they're okay and they're fed, and this way I could tell every morning, well, they're going to need feed today, tomorrow, whatever else. But I'm kind of hoping with this manure, this bed pack, I'm either going to try to haul some of it out here if it dries up before planting and try to get some of it hauled out. Otherwise, I'm going to go through and, I thought the camera shut off, try to pile it up, compost it a little bit, and I'll maybe haul a little bit out on our hay ground this summer, but then early fall, we'll go through and haul it out after we get some field work done, or harvest done. And see, now I'm trying to find, there's just enough of a little bit of an incline there where the tires just couldn't keep traction. And unfortunately, the front tires on the Bobcat are getting kind of worn down and no chains at this point. So, well, we made it. Now I got to haul a load or two of hay from Ryan's place, but unfortunately that's all we got left, which isn't the end of the world, but about 2 loads of hay, and that's all we got. And then hopefully by then we can just let the cows out. We got plenty of, between waterways and everything else like that. The waterways, people complain about having to make waterways, but even for us, I can get 30 to 50 bales first cut, and 20 to 30 bales second cut, making our waterways, even just the waterways at at British here. It's worth it. It's worth the run around and the aggravation of it, because it's that much less actual field ground we have to dedicate to making hay. So that's always a plus. And right here, I need some more bale feeders. If I could put out 2 more bales of hay, I mean, that'd buy me, well, at least another couple more days, right? And with my dad's cows, and I think all cows in general, you have to have bale feeders because otherwise they lay on 90% of it. Here's Relina getting a gator ride. Seems pretty content. She just came back from the doctor. So she's got her bottle of water, and the sun's kind of bright. That's all we got for today, guys. I don't really think I have to say it, but things are kicking off around here. It's just waking up, and it's actually been 30 degrees here the last day or two, but nice weather's coming, and we're working down the list of spring jobs, chores. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.